Hey guys, how you doing? Berserker98 here, again with another video, and today I want to talk about one of the most amazing mangas I have ever read, and I've read hundreds. I want to talk about Lone Wolf and Cub. Now, what is this manga about? This manga is about Ogami Ito, the shogun's former executioner that executed all the daimahos that betrayed the shogun, and his quest for revenge after the Yagyu clan, which are the shogun's assassins, tried to kill him so they can take the position of the executioner themselves. Now, when the Yagyu framed Ogami Ito and tried to kill him, they killed his wife in the process, which only made Ogami Ito more angry and more determined to take his revenge. So what he did is he took his 3-year-old son, Daigoro, and he gave him a choice. Either he kills him right then and there, he kills his own son to spare him the suffering of this journey that they're gonna take, or will he choose to go with his father on his quest for revenge? Daigoro chose to go with his father, and so he traveled Japan as a hired assassin. And if you want to hire him, you need to pay him 500 euro, and you need to tell him about all the circumstances of the assassination, and he will kill anyone for you. So the story is about him traveling Japan, executing all the assassinations contracts, trying to take his revenge on the Yagyu clan, but at the same time the Yagyu clan isn't happy that Ogami Ito escaped, and they do all they can to kill him. First they try the sneaky method so they won't shame their name. They send assassins, but then shit gets real and the entirety of the Yagyu clan attacks him. So that's what the story is about, and that's how the story unfolds. Now, a lot of people read the first couple of volumes of this manga, then they drop it because they think it's just gonna be another generic assassination manga, that it's gonna be episodic, that there's no plot, but they're severely mistaken. After the setting is established, the assassination contracts get so much interesting, not only because of the great plot and the very interesting, amazing characters, but also because of the themes that this manga handles: death, life, prostitution, crime, corruption, just to name a few. And also, down the line, not only do the assassination contrasts get more interesting and more amazing, the plot also unfolds. You know, the Yagyu try to kill Ogami Ito, they get way more aggressive, and him trying to get his revenge. And there's a lot of mysteries in this manga that are very intriguing to find out. Like, why does Ogami Ito travel as an assassination? What will he do with the fortune he amassed from all the assassination contracts? You know, he did hundreds of them. Each time he gets paid 500 ryos. How will he, one man, beat thousands of the Yagyu clan? These are all mysteries that are very intriguing and make the manga so much fun and so much amazing to read, plus the great plot and the great characters and the great setting. Now, a lot of things make Lone Wolf and Cub the masterpiece that it is. First, its masterful portrayal of feudal era Japan. You will not find any work of fiction, and I mean any, whether it be book, movies, TV shows, video games, anything that is this accurate, that is this researched. Everything from the weapons, the clothes, the way people act, the way people talk, the buildings, the architecture, everything is so faithful and so loyal. Unless you have a time machine, this is as close as you can get to feudal era Japan. The attention to detail is amazing. Everything is researched beyond belief. And this accurate portrayal doesn't just extend to aesthetics. Like I said, even the mannerisms of the peasants and the samurai are so accurate. The peasants with their vulgar ways, and the samurai with their rigid, even dogmatic attachment to tradition. It's really admirable. I mean, Ogami Ito, in many instances in the manga, really just sacrificed his own son just to keep with the Bushido way. On one hand, one might find it cruel, but on the other hand, I don't think that he's a cruel man. Like, there's a lot of moments in the manga that I won't spoil that really prove that he really loves Daigoro, but it just goes to show you his dedication to the way of the warrior and to the way of the samurai. which is again adds great points to the manga for it being an accurate portrayal and also creating a lot of badass character moments. And speaking of badass, I got to talk about the characters in this manga. First, we have the protagonist, Ogami Ito. This guy is so manly and stoic and badass, he makes Kenshiro and Guts look like a joke.
Blasphemy! I insulted Berserk!
But seriously guys, this guy takes stoic, manly, and badass to a whole nother level. And unlike Kenshiro, he's not just a two-dimensional badass self-insert guy. The way that he is justified through the context of the story, because the samurai, the way they are raised, the strict way they are raised, the strict way that they have to serve the shogun, the way that he is completely justified. And most of the samurais in this show act kind of like him, sort of like him. So the way he acts is completely justifiable. His motivations are really, really, really deep. And the grand story that he builds in the series, from the beginning when he decides to be an assassin to the end when he wants to destroy the Yaglu clan, is amazing to unfold. Like I said, one guy faces thousands of people, and I'm not gonna spoil how it ends. Also, the moments that this character is in are badass beyond belief. There are gonna be moments where he's gonna be facing hundreds of people, moments that the odds are gonna be completely against him, and he prevails. And it doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel like an asshole or a plot hole. It feels completely justified, because this manga is not just about bronze, it's about brains. The strategy that Ogami Ito comes up with, the strategies are amazing. Also, I can't believe I didn't mention it till now, but he's a masterful swordsman. He's the best swordsman in Japan. His name only strikes fear in the hearts of his opponents. So this makes this manga that much better. Then we have his son, Daigoro, 3 years old, and he has more balls than most of the modern anime protagonists combined. Like seriously, we got all these harem anime protagonists, these beta bitches that have their own harems that shy away. Oh no, oh baka, oh ecchi. Not this guy. This guy from 3 years old is an absolute badass. The way he follows his father, he's seen death and suffering and torture from a very young age. He's very used to it. When shit comes to shove, he is a badass. He delivers. He fights with his father. His father wouldn't have survived in a lot of situations without him. And even though he's a really talented, really fearless warrior, a little warrior, he's really cute too. He hasn't lost his innocence. He hasn't lost what made him a kid. So it's very cute to see him, on one hand, being such a badass motherfucker, but on the other hand, being really cute and really innocent. And the manga stresses on it many times throughout the series. They compare him to other kids, and the way that he's disciplined, the way that he acts. His father knew how to raise him. And he's also an amazing character, even though he barely has any dialogue because he's 3 years old, so he doesn't really know how to talk completely because he's 3. The character development he has is absolutely amazing. He's such a badass. And the villains are just as good. There's 2 types of villains. There's the episodic villains, and speaking of episodic villains, there's something that I want to stress right now. The episodic stories are absolutely amazing. You know how Cowboy Bebop is episodic, but nobody complains? The stories are like that. Not even if you're not the person that's into episodic stories like me, you will love them because of their depth. And even though they're short stories, most of them don't go beyond 2 chapters. The characters are so well developed, and the themes handled are so deep and so thought-provoking, from every subject imaginable: life, death, philosophy, government, politics, like everything, drugs. Every single deep and mature subject is handled in the side stories. I can make a video about every single side story on its own. That's how rich they are. And every single side story has its own mini villain, and like the side stories, there are also great villains, really well developed. But the main overarching villain of the story is Yagyu Retsudo, one of the most badass motherfuckers you will ever find in any manga. He is the head of the Yagyu clan. He's the person that conspired against Ogami Ito to take the position of the executioner for him. He is also a master swordsman, and not only that, his Yagyu clan not only is a samurai clan, but also controls a branch of ninjas. And these ninjas take spying to a whole nother level. They spread throughout Japan, and they live there for generation after generation, disguising themselves as normal people and relaying information to the head of the Yagyu clan and uprising when the need calls for it. And Yagyu Retsudo is such a well-written villain. His motivations aren't selfish, they're done, in his opinion, for the sake of the shogun, for the sake of the Tokugawa shogun, for the sake of Japan. And you really sympathize for him, because when he tries to kill Ogami Ito fucks him up. He basically kills any and all people that he loves. He, pretty much destroys his clan. And in the end of the manga, he's alone. But at the same time, every time you feel bad for him, you remember what he's done to Ogami Ito, and all the suffering and pain that Ogami Ito and his son Daigoro had to go through was because of him. So it really makes you conflicted, and that's what a great villain should be like, not just a black and white good guy, bad guy. And that's what Yagyu Retsudo represents. And that's why he's an amazing villain and really enriches the masterpiece status of this manga. The art is also amazing. It's not as good or detailed like works like Berserk or Vagabond or Battle Angel Alita or stuff like that, but it's still very good. It conveys the emotions and it portrays all the badass moments in a great way. The artist is called Koseki Kojima, but the writer is the legendary Kazuo Koki, one of the most influential people in the manga industry. He started his own college course that helped many manga authors to become legends that they are now. He helped so many people that I can just sit here all day and mention them, so I'm not even gonna try. So yeah, that's why I think Lone Wolf and Cub is a timeless masterpiece that should be read by everybody. Seriously, if you haven't read it yet, do yourself a favor and read it. Just power through the first couple of volumes. I know they're episodic, but when the story picks up, it fucking picks up. So please do yourself a favor and read it. Don't just think that the Yagyu Retsudo is the only villain. There are dozens of amazing well-written villains, plus a surprise villain that I won't spoil, that he's just as amazing as Yagyu Retsudo. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. If you read it, be sure to leave a comment so we can discuss it together. Like the video if you did, and subscribe for more videos.